Brent, are you ready to get into our feature review of the evening for Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, like I said, this is Paul Thomas Anderson. He wrote and directed it. It's based on a novel by Thomas Pynchon, called Vineland. The premise, according to IMDb, is when their evil enemy resurfaces after 16 years, a group of ex-revolutionaries reunite to rescue one of their own's daughter. It's currently in theaters. It opened in theaters September 26th, and the cast includes Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Chase Infiniti, Benicio del Toro, Teyana Taylor, Regina Hall, Wood Harris, and more. So what we're going to do, as we usually do, is we're going to do a non-spoiler review followed by a spoiler review. So once we transition over to spoilers, I'll play a clip from the trailer. If you want to navigate around that, check the show notes for timestamps. So we're going to get into our non-spoiler review of One Battle After Another. Brent, how did you feel about this movie? And briefly, how do you feel about Paul Thomas Anderson as a filmmaker?
Paul Thomas Anderson is probably one of my very favorite directors working still today. This is his 10th feature by my count, and he's done music videos and short films, but One Battle After Another, I believe, is his 10th feature film. And I mean, the quality across those, not just the quality, but yes, absolutely the quality, but also just the variety of genres and themes and scope and all of it is so varied and so ambitious and so challenging, but yet like intellectually satisfying. He's amazing. I love him. So that I would generally say we could talk, we'd do whole other podcasts about all those other movies, but so that's generally that. This new film I was extremely excited for. I got to see it early. I took a trip with my wife and her parents to Washington, D.C. earlier this month. And before we left, I was just kind of curious about what was going to sort of happen with screenings for this. I didn't know what Warner's was going to do. This did not play at any film festivals, which is sometimes the case with Paul Thomas Anderson stuff. He has in the past, hasn't, whatever. But this, even despite coming out kind of almost right on really in the heart actually of a festival season, is just kind of having a wide release. So anyway, I was like looking screenings, like couldn't really find anything like around, like nothing in Indianapolis, nothing any of that. So I saw one on the 16th in Silver Spring, Maryland. I was like, I wonder if that's near DC. Then turns out it was like 8 miles from where, like 8 or 9 miles where we were staying in our hotel. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. It's like the night we're getting in, might be able to make it work. Pulled it up. Event was full. So I'm like, I'll get on the wait list. This was like 2 days before, a few days before we left. Okay. I was like, I had no plan. Like I was like, just like, okay, I'll get on the wait list, whatever, it'll either happen or it won't. It'll be great, but whatever. So anyway, the day before we leave, I got an email and they're like, oh, the wait list, there's spots available now. They probably got more spots, whatever, that they unreserved for people. Yeah. Anyway, so I was like, well, like sign me up. And then, I mean, because with these screenings, it's like you get a pass, but it's like you show up and there's a huge line. So, I mean, like, it's not, you can reserve something and then heaven forbid if I couldn't make it, I'm not paying anything for it. And I just wouldn't go. But I ended up going. I was able to get in line, stay in line, and all that stuff, and got in. And it was a cool experience. It was weird going to a screening like that, being the other side of it, because we've gone to screens in Indy where we're the press. We're the ones with the hot shots with the reserve seats. I was on the outskirts. I was the other 20% on the, whatever. But I ended up getting like a pretty, like, I mean, for a movie like that, we didn't see it. It wasn't in the IMAX theater, unfortunately, the IMAX auditorium. But even for that, like it was just like still a big screen. So anyway, I was up higher anyway for it.
Wow.
I haven't talked about the movie yet. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I just want to
but
say really quick, like I didn't realize like you went through all of that. Like I just thought that like, oh, you got a ticket and you went to it. Like I thought it was just one of those like early access screenings. And it's just insane to me that like I in the best possible way, um like you were in DC on vacation and you
yeah,
jumped through all of these hoops to watch a near 3-hour movie while on
yes.
vacation. That's
And yes, yes, and
nice.
getting the screening was at 7.
Mm,
It's the theater's like it's like 8 or 9 miles or something, but that doesn't matter in a city because what is
right.
8 or 9? Well, actually, you're in Indianapolis.
Mm,
8 or 9 miles to me is like, oh, that's across town. That's like 15 minutes.
yeah.
No, it was like
Jeez.
my Uber ride was like an hour. So
That's
because it
nuts.
was pretty much during like rush hour, and the
Mhm.
guy was like even told me he's like this is like it's gonna be like an hour. I'm like, yeah,
Mm,
sorry
yeah,
for
yeah.
you, but you have to deal with me. But
Yeah.
like this is where I have to go, and this is how you do things in cities apparently. So anyway, so yeah, no, I mean
Man.
it was lucky that I was even I was on a wait list for it and
Mhm.
all this stuff. So um yeah, it was a screening they
Wow.
were hosting, and I mean they did some I think in like New York and LA, but like they
Mm.
didn't really do any like that week. So
Oh,
like the
yeah.
week of the film when it came out, like 22nd, 23rd, I think were when a lot of the press screenings were. But I
Mhm.
think like they did one in El Paso too. They
Oh,
probably maybe did
wow.
something around California, but like they didn't
Mm.
do a lot that week of the 15th, that week of
Sure.
it. So I was extremely fortunate not only to see it early, but quite a bit earlier.
Nice.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean the film is great. I mean it's
Mhm.
another masterpiece
Oh, yeah.
by him. I think what I think this time out for me, what's coolest about it is this is him working with a budget that's 4 or 5 times what he normally does. I mean, most of his
Yeah.
movies, tend to cost, depending exactly when, like, you know, 20 to say like on the high end, like 40 million. That's like the most that he
Right.
would get for his movies. Budget for this, depending on like who you ask, is like around 150 million. So
Mhm.
like the idea that Warner's, was like, okay, like we're gonna bet big on you. And obviously I'm sure, came to him and Vineland is one that he's talked about uh, I mean, through the years, he's
Mhm.
because he's a big Pynchon, Thomas Pynchon guy. He
Yeah.
adapted Inherent Vice in 2014, which is, as I understand it, a much more like kind of direct adaptation.
Mm.
Vineland takes place in the 60s and like the 80s, whereas this is One Battle After Another. There's a time shift, but it's anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so I think they were probably in the negotiations with Warner's or whatever. He was probably like, if they're going to give me this budget, like I might as well shoot for the stars and do the adaptation that I want. And like, so I'm assuming this is kind of the dream project. I don't know that specifically, but
Mhm.
I assume this is kind of really what he wanted to aim for. And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, we'll obviously talk about it more, but I mean, it's
Right.
it's 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 an instant classic. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really it's something to really see. Yeah, a movie that that people that will be with people for a really long time. We don't have anymore the thing of like, oh, if you catch it on TV, you'll keep watching it, like we had
Oh,
for
yeah.
like whatever Goodfellas or whatever movies would be on
Sure.
TV, TBS or TNT or anything like that.
Mhm.
Content is so watch stuff so intentional now, but uh, regardless, this is I think a movie that will just keep people kind of curious and I think intrigued well after the opening weekend, which already has
Mhm.
passed, or 2025. It's yeah, it's a real work of art. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those things that anytime, and this happened with Licorice Pizza. Um, and I thought there was something else that he had that, well, okay. So I really liked Licorice Pizza. And I, his filmography is like you said, it's very insane. It is like, there are a few that I haven't seen, like Phantom Thread. Sadly, I have not watched it. I need to, but the just the variety, like you were saying, is vast, and each one just has like this, just like immense scale to it in terms of just showcasing, like, this is definitely like his vision for the film. This is definitely like he's pouring himself into it in at each turn. And what sets One Battle After Another apart, like you said, is that now he has the money. He wants to do, he goes big, and like it's massive. Like it's massive in a scale, in a way that's like similar to how like There Will Be Blood was massive, but more uh stylish than that, like in a different way, but the
Mhm.
same way. But like it's massive. It's incredible. And anytime I see a PT Anderson movie, I just think like, okay, I need to go back and I need to rewatch Boogie Nights, because I haven't seen that since like high school, and I need to give Inherent Vice another chance because I really didn't like it when I saw it. And so much so that like when watching One Battle After Another, I thought this is like yeah, Bob, Leo DiCaprio is a lot like Joaquin Phoenix's character in Inherent Vice. He's like this burnout stoner guy. But it's like One Battle After Another is a much more watchable version of that character for me, because
Mhm.
I just couldn't really get into Inherent Vice. But yeah, everything clicks together and works so well together. There's this level of suspense and tension that it finds that line really quickly and rides it so consistently, where you've got Leo DiCaprio being this guy who is this stoner burnout guy, but the stakes of what's going on, like he's trying to get to his daughter, he's trying to get his daughter. The stakes of that are so big, and like they're so he's so focused on that, that like his little like stoner isms that are getting in the way aren't played exactly for laughs. Like they're not played strictly for laughs, because there's that undercurrent of like, oh no, this is a serious situation. He needs to, like, he can't remember the code speak to get access to the rendezvous point or anything, and that's funny. But like also, his daughter's in danger. So like I really loved DiCaprio's performance in that, where
Mhm.
he like has a hold on the comedy of the character while simultaneously like carrying that tension of it. And then like that is such a fine line that I think is just walked so perfectly throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this this too, and I agree with you. I mean, the tone of this is just so interesting, and of course, very much in the way that he is so confident with the tones that he establishes, for each of his films, and the stakes here are very, to me, very immediate. Some have already called this like his most accessible film.
Mhm.
I could see that. I mean, because I mean, you read that log line right there. Like, it's like father trying to get his daughter back. I mean, it's like a Western,
Yeah.
right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's like, anyone can pretty much. Now, this is not a simple film.
Sure.
There are a lot of other things, and there's a lot of, different character, and it's, 2 hours 45 or what have
Mhm.
you. But it is, I think, in a way. So you mentioned like Inherent Vice, like that to me is a lot more of like a neo noir,
Mhm.
sort of like intentionally uh convoluted,
Yeah.
basically a Shaggy Dog story, because like
Sure.
I couldn't even tell you what he's after in that movie. I mean, it's been 10 years since I've seen it, but like,
Mm.
even if I saw it last week and you quizzed me, I don't think I'd be able to tell you like who was after what exactly, and like all the,
Right.
it's intentionally a lot of different characters. Whereas this, I mean, there are a lot of characters, but the stakes are a lot more. It's a much more immediate film, um, where you can, I mean, it gets right going, and even after the sort of time jump, like it's what's at stake. There are a lot of complications and a lot of layers to it, but I don't know who would see this and really like be lost about like where we're trying to go. And I again, I mean, for me, I'm looking for like things with Paul Thomas Anderson in terms of like things that are different for him. Again, the budget is very different, what he's able to accomplish with that, which we'll talk about. But in terms of the type of story that he's telling here, I think is very different even than like what he did with when he was previously adapting Pynchon with like Inherent Vice. So again, if I'm sort of like looking for differences in his filmography or points of like growth or just like interesting aspects in how this fits into to his work, those are the things that to me I came out of this like kind of buzzing most about.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. I was looking at the other movies that I haven't seen of his. I haven't seen Phantom Thread or Heart 8 and Junon. Have not seen that either.
Yeah, that's a documentary that he did with Johnny Greenwood. It's like I haven't seen it. I should, because I'm definitely a fan of Johnny Greenwood as well. But it's like 65 minutes or something. And then like the one he did with Tom York, for Anima is really good, but it's like I forget exactly how long it is. It's like 30 or 40 minutes. Like they're not really like feature length. They're really the anime is really good. And then like the music videos that he's done for Heim, for instance, like those are really cool, but of course those are shorter. But yeah, Hard 8 is it's his debut. Definitely very I mean, a lot of confidence right out of the gate. You'll know that like with Paul Thomas Anderson, like his stuff in the 90s especially, like not a young man lacking for confidence.
Right.
Which it's there's definitely, it's sort of interesting to see again a movie like this, like how they're kind of in conversation with one another in terms of like the story that he's interested in telling, because this is a movie that's very much about the passage of time, maybe having certain regrets about how things have gone in your life, what you want for your kids is a humongous theme in this. So that again, maturity and that sort of kind of nuance in what he's trying to do here is another point that I mean, I just obviously I love this movie and what it means to in terms of where it fits into kind of the rest of his work. And
the way that he handles like not necessarily the passage of time, but like the character as he grows through that time period, like that 16-year time jump it's so interesting to see this like revolutionary sort of militant revolutionary just kind of grow old into like this stoned guy with a kid. And it's really interesting to see it play out and see how Bob's kind of just reaction when like things hit the fan and he needs to be like reactivated or whatever, how he bumps up against like, granted, like I said, it is also like him just being this burnout guy, but like him bumping up against like, okay, the different things that they have to do in order to get to this. It's like, I just need to get this. I need to get this done, that frantic nature of it. But having this movie front loaded with this extended sequence, this extended prologue of just showing the passion and the ferocity of their goal, their means, the French 75. Having them just that be this just like angry, just like really, really energized committed thing, and then having that turn on its head with him having a kid and her having a kid with him and everything, having that be this just complete change for him is really interesting, and especially when it jumps to 16 years later, when you have this paranoid stoner guy that's embarrasses his daughter. It's just it's a great recipe for just really good writing.
Yeah, 100%. And well, yeah, getting to Leo's performance. I mean, I think this is maybe my favorite performance of his. I mean, full stop, which of course
wow.
is saying a lot. He's been in plenty of great films. He's given done terrific work in them, but this is just, I mean, as you mentioned there, you kind of summed it up, that you see such a transition between kind of who he is in this like younger state, and he's kind of just crazy about this Perfidia, Beverly Hills, I believe her name is, played by Teyana Taylor. And I mean, you kind of get the sense that he's trying to, well, not the sense, I mean, he's trying to like impress her, and it's this whole thing of like, kind of young love / lust or whatever. And it's kind of the thing of like, dog chasing a car, wouldn't know what to do when he caught it, sort of thing. And I think it's one of those classic things. I don't know if this is exactly explicit in the film, but like, I don't know that that it was like a planned sort of like pregnancy, or I certainly don't think that they were like planning on like being parents. But I think it's one of those things like he really shifts then, and Perfidia does not, and is still kind of all about this leading the revolution and all that stuff. And then kind of once we have that time jump, I've seen they've done a lot of press for this. I mean, WB, we'll talk about this, but like WB's, they're pulling out all the stops. It cannot be said that they did not do their best for this film. Talking about the box office too, but like anyway, regardless, he's done like interviews, and he's talked about The Big Lebowski and the dude, and there really is so much of a through line there, not just with the character and the way that he's played, but in the subtext of the film too. That is a movie, talking about like kind of Vineland, that book taking place in the 60s and then being like pushed later on into like the Reagan era of the 80s. The Big Lebowski, I don't know exactly what year it is, but I think it's like the late 80s or early 90s. And so this idea that he's sort of just like lost in this, he's like hippie haze or whatever. And, all this like life is sort of just kind of happening. And it's this, this like the bum's lost sort of thing. And like, he's like, and of course, he's where that actually is kind of course, being like a Coen Brothers movie, there are a lot of like red herrings. I do like The Big Lebowski a lot more than Inherent Vice. Not that whatever, but bottom line is, he's being like thrown into this stuff with one battle after another. It is. I mean, it's Bob gets tripped up by every obstacle possible. Like whether it's jumping from a roof or like, of course, which like a big stretch of this movie is not remembering the specific code word that they have code speak between these revolutionaries. So much time has passed. He doesn't know all of these, like the revolution will not be televised. They have to know all of they have to be able to recite the stanzas, it's like, it's like, who I am. Anyway. And I mean, I think it's a big part of this movie is his performance. It's just so, it's outlandish, but it's still relatable and like, and affable. And again, I mean, I think it's because I think this movie's focus is so clear in terms of like what he's trying to do. I think that helps a lot. With, again, sort of streamlining the narrative to some extent, but I think it really informs his performance in a way that I really vibed. I mean, there's a ton of, I mean, and he's even done comedy very well before. Wolf of Wall Street obviously springs to mind, and he's brilliant in that. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not like a full comedy, but like I think of like that breakdown scene in the trailer, and there's definitely like he's just so good at that that like balance, or that like seesaw between like pathetic and like heroic. So can't really say enough about. I'd love to see him get nominated for an Oscar again. I mean, this is the sort of role I'd rather people win for than like The Revenant, which is a movie I like a lot and a performance I respect and all that stuff. But that's also ultimately a movie you kind of survive making. Whereas this is like you're putting, you're crafting a full character here, and anyway, so nothing against The Revenant or any of that. He's done a lot of great movies, but this is like instantly like probably right up at the top for me.
For me, it's something like, as in terms of his performances, I think it's going to grow on me, and it's growing from a place where it's already very high up. Like, I don't know if I would necessarily say it's his best performance that I've seen, but that's mostly because his filmography is insane. And I don't know if I'm ready to say that it's stronger than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I loved his performance. And to get into the plot a little bit more, the way that it handles, again, that time jump, and how Willa, played by Chase Infiniti from Indianapolis, I believe, the way that her character kind of grows as someone who is learning about her mother, and kind of just like learning about who her mother was and what her mother became. In the way that she's like responding to that and she's getting into that world reminded me a little bit, and I don't know if this is really a fair comparison, but it reminded me a little bit of like The Place Beyond the Pines, like that kind of generational sort of like discovery of like where you came from, or who the person who made you was.
So that's really interesting. I had not thought of that film, but that's, I could definitely see that film was definitely about generational discovery. I think was basically like you just put it. So
so I was really into that part of it as well. I do think that Chase Infiniti, this is her first movie. This is her debut, I believe. And like, she's fantastic. Especially in the latter parts of the movie, which I won't give anything away, but there's just stuff that she does that I think is really promising for like her future career. I think she's got a lot of talent, and this is a very good debut of showcasing that talent. If I seem distracted, it's because pizza has been around the table, and I've been trying to get her away. And fortunately, she just got away. So anyway,
she's wonderful in the whole film. This is probably too vague, and I don't want to make it sound like it's just one. But there's one scene in particular where she goes toe to toe with someone, and it's to me it was like, all right, like that's like just starving. I mean, you sort of see that sometimes with people where it's like, where they're either early on in their career, or it's like their first film, and you have to realize like they're playing against Leonardo DiCaprio and like Sean Penn, and like people who are like heavy hitters, and it's like, I mean, I can't act anyway, but like I would just be like pooping my Pampers. So she does not do that. She very much holds her own, and no, she's fantastic in it. She was in Presumed Innocent, which I believe came out either earlier this year or last year, but it was a TV show. This is her first film. She was good in that as well, but this is like one that I really hope unlocks a lot of doors for her, because I think she's outstanding. I mean, the whole cast. I mean, Teyana Taylor, man. I mean, she is just an absolute force here. She's the not a spoiler. She's the first person we see in the film, and she's like not not quite jogging, but like very briskly walking down a
Yes.
bridge, and Johnny Greenwood's score is like a single note piano, and then vloms in a really like
so good.
holy crap, like you are in a theater, damn it, way.
Yes. It made me happy that I saw it in Dolby.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I just saw it even just like in Senator, although I think the sound was like better than what you'd get at a normal like AMC or Regal in Fort Wayne. So anyway,
right.
But anyway, she's fantastic in this. Regina Hall is really good. She's like, I've seen her do kind of generally more comedy. I've certainly seen her do drama as well. But she's fantastic. I mean, Sean Penn in this is just incredible.
Yes.
He is just,
oh my God.
He is like, probably one of my favorite performances of his as well.
Mine too, 100%. His like that like intensity, but it's just like the shaky intensity. It's not like he's not like a conventionally like frightening guy. It's just like you can tell like he's like right on the edge of just like going crazy or like doing something like insane. And it's not necessarily like an intimidation thing, but it's just like it sort of reminds me of the idea behind what James McAvoy did while filming See No Evil, where he would do like 50 push-ups or something before each take or something like that, so that he would be out of breath for it. Like the way Sean Penn carries himself in this movie just feels like he is like it's almost like he's just recovering from having the wind knocked out of him a little bit. It's just
that's a great way to explain
really
it.
Well. Yeah, it works so well. And it really phenomenal performance.
I think the performances. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say in the comedy about like there's a bit about his shirt that I thought was really funny.
I mean that's the thing. The performances in this too, like it is that whole thing of like doing comedy. I'm thinking of Leo and Sean Penn specifically, and their characters are foils in this, and and all of that. But those are both characters that are like buffoonish, like the way that they are like written and like even presented, they are, and yet. Like Leo, I cared about him, and Sean Penn, like I wanted him to go down, like and Sean Penn, I mean the Lockjaw, Colonel Lockjaw's character, even when his character is like, whatever, ridiculous or just like seems like what is this guy all about? He represents and has a full army and like a whole backing behind him, and that does a lot of talking. Like that's a lot. That's really so. Even if it's like, what's going on with this guy? It's like, well, like he's got a lot of troops and a lot of guns, and and full authority to go into these cities. All this stuff. So, anyway, all that to say. Paul Thomas Anderson has done plenty of like comedy before, even outright comedies. But that's what I like about this is that there's so much comedy in it, but it's not frivolous. Like it's always thrilling, but there's just these like in terms of how like all these idiosyncrasies. Just whatever.
Idiosyncrasies.
That's a tough one, man. With the characters still present and still register, even when things are still tense. So that's a real skill. Again, both from the direction and the acting.
Do you want to go into spoilers for One Battle After Another? Okay, we're going to go ahead and go into spoilers. I ended up rating this 4.5 stars on Letterboxd out of 5. It's going to be on my top 10. It's a phenomenal movie. Brent, what did you rate it on Letterboxd?
All 5 of them, baby.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and go into spoilers. So if you want to skip the spoiler section, check the show notes for timestamps. Show notes at obsessiveviewer.com/OV488. And yeah, I'm going to play a clip from the trailer. When we come back, we're going to be spoiling one battle after another.
Not one thing, it's another. Find that to be true.
I need you, brother. Sensei, please.
Courage, Bob. Courage.
That's it. Courage. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. God damn it. Viva la revolution!
Right, so spoilers on for one battle after another. Brent, we didn't really talk that much about Benicio del Toro's character. Phenomenal. I love that as a contrast to Lockjaw and like his like military network and stuff, and having the Sensei be kind of the head of this as he calls it, like a Harriet Tubman situation. Just like that's one of the magic things about this movie, and one of the things that sustained it so well for me is that you have Bob, this just, I don't want to call him like a ne'er-do-well, but like he is this like burnout guy with a past, and he just falls into this just massive encroachment and like military thing that he is at the center of, and his daughter's at the center of. But I just love that like we're following Bob as all of this chaos is going on around him, and the people that are kind of in charge of things there is like the Sensei, and he has like this energy to him that I really liked. So yeah,
definitely. He's kind of he's kind of there's overlap with Bob, and there's enough where they obviously align in terms of like what their sort of like aims are and their sort of worldviews. He just has it together a lot more, and he's able to help this guy who is his daughter's karate teacher. Like he like basically I mean, you know, Bob slams on the and raps on the door at the dojo or whatever. It's like, you need to help me. And I'm sorry, Benicio del Toro, his Sensei, but I think Sergio is his name, regardless. Sergio. Sensei. Yeah. He's just like, all right. And like his whole night is like, he's like, well, let's see what happens. Like, and it's like, we stay with them for like the whole night. And he literally goes to his apartment, his whole thing. And then, of course, as we mentioned, you know, Bob on the phone for like long stretch of time trying to do this whole what time is it thing.
Yes.
This code word. And Sensei, you know, Sergio is just in the back, you know, just like kind of going about his things, but ready to like hand him a sniper rifle. Like it's it's such a weird limbo of like active and not.
Exactly. And like when you say like he's going about his day and going about his things, like the business that he's doing is he's hiding all of these people that are being sought by the military. Like this is like serious shit going on, and he's like there's just an offhanded thing when he hears Bob like say like, I don't know what fucking time it is, and he's just like 8:15. Like it's just like, god damn, this is brilliant.
It's so good. And he's outstanding. You know, I mean, it's just everyone is so good in the cast. And I caught up with the Phoenician Scheme earlier this month. He's terrific. That's a lead role, and he worked with another Anderson in that one. Nice. But I mean, they're two very different. That's a Phoenician Scheme is very different character. Has it much more together than Sensei. But regardless, just two real gems of performances from him, and he's another one. Like again, performance wise, he is funny, and it is funny that like he's doing all of these things that take a lot of courage, and he's very nonchalant about it, but it still matters. Like that's what I love about the comedy in this movie, is that it's not it's about like using the humor in this it doesn't undercut anything. And I think that's a really tricky thing that I think Anderson is able to do.
Because it's not undercutting anything, and it's also not serving the purpose to relieve any tension. Like, it's not like we're not going through like, oh my God, he just got tased and he's going to jail. Like, what's going to happen? Oh, you know, he farted. So that's funny. It's not like the humor is so baked into the story and the character, no pun intended with baked, but it's just so like ingrained in it that it just feels so realistic, and it feels so lived in. I loved it so much. Yeah, the whole time I like it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't looking forward to seeing like a 2 hour and 45-minute movie, but it was like I had another movie I needed to watch last night. So I was like, oh crap, okay, I need to really like race home and start this next movie. And so like I had that in the back of my mind, like as I'm in the theater, I'm like, it's one of those experiences where this is going to sound hacky or whatever, but like I was absorbed into it. Like it was one of those things where I just barely, like I checked the time on my phone like maybe twice just to see my notifications. But other than that, I was locked in. So yeah.
Yeah, I gave an absolutely awful. So they had all sorts of swag. They had like a goatee thing on a stick, and then they said that if you dress up in flannel, we'll give you a beanie, right? Oh. So I was like, okay, that's fun. So I was able to actually pack it and all that stuff because they said that in the email that I got on Monday. So did that. So they had a bunch of, I mean, you've been to these screenings, like they have people with clipboards and they say, what'd you think about blah, blah, blah. But they had like cameras there too. And so I asked, so I was coming out and I almost called my ride share and I saw the beanies, and I didn't get one before because basically when I was in line, the line was just sort of moving. And again, I've been to these press public screenings. So I'm like, the soonest that I can get in that theater, I need to grab a seat and not move. Yeah. Because they let us in around 6:30, about half an hour before it started. So they're like, yeah, well, okay, well, you're all scanned in. Like when I was at the thing, they're like, well, you can like go out here. And if you want to, you know, get a photo with the phone booth, you know, and put on a robe and stuff. And I'm like, that's cute. I'm gonna get a seat right now. so I was like, if it's between the beanie and getting a seat for this movie, I know which one I'm picking. So anyway, later on after the movie, they had a table of these beanies, and I was like, can I just like take one of these? I should have just taken it and run. Would have been very Bob of me, but yes. but the woman behind the camera responded like, sure, just sign this video release. I'm just gonna ask you a few questions and you can take a beanie. And I was like, oh God, all right, that's fine. And I just gave like a terrible like. They're like, what are the 3 words you would use to describe this movie? And the first thing I said was epic. I was like, my head just fell. And I don't even remember anything else that I said. So anyway, hopefully, if you see my dumb face on any marketing that One Battle, that WB and One Battle After Another have done on social media, I'm so sorry. The good news is you haven't, because the footage is so bad. There is no way it would ever see the light of day. But all that to say, it's a lot. I mean, it's a heavy meal. So to come out of this and really, you know, digest it and sort of sit with everything you've seen, it's a lot. So yeah, no, I don't. I don't envy you having to like go home right away and like watch something else or whatever and then rush through, because it's definitely something that, I mean, I had, you know, still probably a 30-minute Uber ride on the way back, and then by that time it was like 10:30 at night or whatever. So that was pretty much my my night. But and you had to wake up early to storm the Capitol. That's right. see Mike Pence. That's right. Mike Pence was Mike Pence was at the oh gosh, my brain. It was the archives, but the rotunda or whatever of the archives, which is where the Declaration, Bill of Rights, and Constitution are. And he was just there at like 9:30 in the morning. Wow, really random. So we didn't know that or anything go beforehand. But anyway, all that to say, like it's a lot to sit there, and I'm already, you know, I'm contemplating coming down to the Indy State Museum as I did for for Oppenheimer. I did that a couple years. That's the last time I came down there. I've seen 3 Chris Nolan movies there. Oh wow. So I think I think this would definitely be one that I should. Yeah. Because I loved it. So I think I will at some point during its run, and I'm hoping they'll keep it for at least a few weeks. Can we? I know there's a ton of stuff we talk. Everything's amazing. The whole Christmas adventures thing is incredible. I guess we can talk about that.
Yeah, we can.
I was gonna. Oh, go ahead.
No. I loved how that was. Like this movie deals with very heavy stuff. Very like there's some socioeconomic stuff. There's some social commentary in it that's very relevant today. Even kind of serendipitously so in some respects. But I really like that it presents like the Christmas adventurers thing as like, it is this white supremacist group. It is this like, it is what it is. It's like, but it's not created in a sense that's like cartoonish exactly. Like it is very much, we don't get a lot of detail about it, but we get enough detail where another movie would play it up as this really cartoonish villainous thing. And there, we get a little cartoonish in this a little bit, but it's really, it just feels like really lived in, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, yes, like the names of things and Hail Saint Nick and like those are funny, punchlines and things, but what's the uncomfortable truth? We know this stuff exists. We know that, like, we know that there are evil cabals of people who are trying to, keep things white and male. It's like, it's, so it's anyway, yes, those scenes they have their own unique power. Yes. Again, I mean, despite the funny details in it, it's still there. So yeah, all of that stuff was amazing. I love with that subplot. I love that brings what Lockjaw's mission is more to even more to the forefront and makes the stakes even higher at getting her, because you realize like his whole like membership in this elite club or whatever is all pending on basically erasing her existence. So that's that it comes at a time in the story where you kind of need more like catch up on what he's about now and what he and so they do a really, really great job at catching us up and filling that all out.
Absolutely. And there's a bunch of other stuff we can talk about, but I don't want to go too long.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I could. God, the River of Hills car chase is insane. God, people already talked about like an instant classic, and it totally is.
Oh my God! Like, it was incredible, and like I got like small like hints of like of Bullet. With the Hills, also the fact that it's a Charger and a Mustang,
right?
But like the way that it switches to like the front of the cars and is following on the hills, like I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it done that way, at least not in recent memory. And I was just absorbed by it. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And again, to see Paul Thomas Anderson, we've seen this before, like directors, they get this like massive budget, and to a certain extent, it's like, it doesn't always translate, meaning that, what they were able to do, in a smaller scale doesn't always translate. And here it just, not only does it translate, I mean, it just, it's all, I mean, it's almost like, you can't even imagine from some of his past work that he could do a sequence like that. Not because he's not a brilliant filmmaker, but because again, it is just so, his films tend to be, just much more character driven or, plot driven. And that is just all about the intensity of that moment, those three cars and just growling engines and movement, and it's I mean, that scene alone, I mean, just an absolute masterwork. But I mean, it's I mean, there's a gajillion scenes. The only thing I was just gonna say, it's just box office wise, it's just like a bummer this month seeing people like, oh, it's getting pretty good reviews. Like, I might might do like 20 to 20. It's like originally like 20 million domestic opening. Like, oh, now we're thinking 22. I'm like, screw you, man. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I know those people aren't trying to be pessimistic or downers, and they ended up being realistic. But I come out of this movie and I'm just like, who would not see this freaking movie? Like, I can't get it. I don't understand.
Even as like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, even as something that can be kind of niche or kind of film bro-y, like it's got the star power, Leo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, like it is Benicio del Toro. And it's also clearly like not that like strongly character driven P.T. Anderson, like you said. It is, there's a purpose to it. There's a different style to it. And that's a mark of how great a filmmaker he is. Also, just that he can just do something else. Like it's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crime saga, right? Like, I don't like, if this isn't the movie that opens to 75 million, I guess I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't understand these things. I mean, the more depressing fact is I realized that There Will Be Blood has made the most of all of Paul Thomas Anderson his movies.
Oh,
it made $77 million worldwide.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, this is where I'm just like, okay, there's two different worlds then. Because I don't understand. Because like this guy is like, of course, like on my Mount Rushmore. And like the Demon Slayer movie from earlier this month does more on its opening weekend than any of his movies worldwide. I just don't like,
Jesus.
So I don't know what to do with that. Like, I just, anyway, the reason I want to say that is because the fallback a lot of times is, oh, they didn't market it. They didn't market it. They didn't do it. It cannot be said here, and I know I went to a press screening, so I'm a little biased. I've seen a lot of marketing for this. I've seen spots for it. I've seen Leo come out and do a lot of interviews, which I don't think he always does.
Right.
I've seen like Regina Hall do stuff. Teyana, like people, Sean Penn even doing stuff, and he doesn't always do stuff. Like Paul Thomas Anderson, I don't think feels super comfortable doing that stuff. He has done that stuff. I think WB not only gave him 150 whatever, I think they probably did another 100 million for marketing. I just don't, it's the 2025 of it all. Like, I don't know what it's going to take for people to go out to see a freaking movie. But
to be fair, I think that maybe its greatest fault is that it opened against Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie,
which got an A+ cinema score, and One Battle After Another only got an A.
Oh, so. Yeah. Oof. The world we live in.
And I joke, but I mean, an A for Paul Thomas Anderson is quite something. Like, he does not make A cinema score films.
Right.
Like, he just doesn't. I mean, a great filmmaker, love his movies, but like, The Master is not getting an A cinema score.
Right.
Great as a movie as that is, this movie is challenging in all the ways that that I look for in a movie, but it's also, I don't know, man. If people will go for this, I don't get it. So that's the bummer to me. Same. But it's one of those movies that I think will stay in the conversation for the months for awards reasons.
Yeah.
Which, because I just think it's kind of indefinable. Like it's gonna be like, Warner's is going to have to make a decision between this and Sinners. I love Sinners.
Oh, yeah.
But they're going to have to make a decision between what they want to put their weight behind. And I think they're going to go with this. I'm talking about for awards reasons.
Right.
Could be totally wrong about that. Maybe they'll both show up and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Both great movies. I'm not trying to say that to pit them against each other. I'm just stating the reality of it. But regardless, past the awards part of it, Warner's wants to make a buck. I know Superman did well. I get it. They're a company, they're a business. The box office part of this is depressing to me, as great as a film it is. It further to me, it makes me understand less about what people want.
Oh yeah. I'm at least thankful that it got its wide theatrical release. It got its stuff. Like, it wasn't dumped or anything. So that's good. Like, they have faith in it, but I agree.
And Warner's, I mean, okay, I'll be more clear in what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying boohoo Warner's because the fact of the matter is this thing exists. It will exist as long as they don't write it down. Write down like Batgirl. Get a physical copy of this as soon as you can. By the way, everyone who's listening. But seriously, the fact is it exists. And I mean, if Warner's never does another movie if they're not in the Paul Thomas Anderson business after this, if they don't, it's a one and done, then we can be grateful that there was a moment in time, a moment in history, where they were able to come to him with a lot of money and say, make something great. And he did. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I think that will do it for our review of One Battle After Another. So to wrap up the review, Brent, you rated it 5 stars. I gave it 4.5 stars. Would you say that this is your current number one, or what other movies are in contention for your number one? Of the year? Of the year, yeah. This is definitely number one. Nice. Superman and Sinners would honestly be like 2 and 3. Nice. So I guess I'm a big WB fanboy, I guess, this year. I did say in my review, I mean, it is heartening that they are betting big on auteurs. I mean, it's a through line with what they're doing this year, between Ryan Coogler and James Gunn. So but no, this is my favorite. I mean, I'll have to really see something here in the next few months to dethrone it, but it could happen. I've given a couple 5 stars in the past. So same here. It's in contention for my top 10, probably not number 1, but top 5 for sure. Great movie. See it in theaters. And we are gonna wrap up this review, and then we're gonna do a secondary review, probably a brief one, for VHS Halloween. So before we do that, I do want to say 2 things. One, that I forgot to mention at the top, I am going to be a guest on the Short Bites podcast, a Stephen King podcast, hosted by my friend in Canada, Jason White. He and I talked about some Stephen King short stories. I'm going to be on 2 episodes coming out soon, so check that out, Short Bites. And then I'm also going to make an appearance on our friend Andy and Logan's podcast, Odd Trilogies, next month. Crossing the felt ropes, watching from home on my TV, looking at all my eyes can see. They tell me I view obsessively.